Hi, I'm John Miglautsch for the WDMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. We're live on the hour with marketing news and opinion every day, 10 o'clock Chicago time for 10 minutes. So feel free to join me, share it with your friends. My favorite platform of the three that we're on, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch, is Periscope. The reason is because it whistles when someone you follow is online. I don't follow many. I follow Scott Adams. He follows me back on Twitter. He's the guy who wrote Dilbert. Really, actually, a very brilliant man. And I hope he joins us one of these days. I'm going to invite him. Oh, somebody's calling. Dismiss. That's no good. We can't answer the phone. If you're calling for me, you're going to have to watch the recorded version. I'll send it to you later. Leave a message. One of these days we'll have call-ins, and that'll be fun. But it'll go way too fast. So I had way too many days to prepare. So today I want to talk about blockchain technology. I saw a lot of articles about the blockchain, and some of them are so funny you can't even stand it. I did a talk up in Minneapolis back in July. And I talked about what marketing. It's up on LinkedIn also. If you want to predict the future of marketing is buzzwords, okay? And a new buzzword is blockchain. So Long Island Iced Tea Company back in 2017, late in the year, decided to change their name from Long Island Iced Tea to long blockchain. Stock went way up all of a sudden. It had been going down, and then all of a sudden it went whoo, and now it's delisted. And I tried to find out. I was going to show you the graph, but it's too funny. But I did a talk on that back in January because it was still higher than it had been in a long time. I wouldn't have recommended that you invest in it. Anyway, so the point is that marketing loves buzzwords. Big data is passé. Now we need mega data, macho data. And so I ran across, at least a dozen articles. Here, look, I'll just show you my Periscope over here. Blockchain technology and how it's like a DNA. We're going to explain blockchain technology for you a little bit. This is a really good little article. How does a blockchain work? That's the best thing I found. It's a little 6-minute video, which I could show you. How blockchain will disrupt the marketing industry forever. Okay, and we're going to get into that for the next day or two. But the first thing I wanted to explain was, how does a blockchain work? And it's really interesting because there are parallels in the real world. It's a digital version of some things that are in the real world. And one is the DNA molecule. The DNA molecule is this long chain, if you will, of information. Okay? And you can't just pull a little bit of information out. It's all connected together. And that's a kind of a great visualization for the and that's not what this article is about. I just like the picture in this article. Okay. But maybe the blockchain people don't even realize that. That's part of what I do, is connect the dots for you so that you can understand it and explain it to your CIO and why this is important to you in the near future. Okay. But the point is that you can't just pull one sequence out of a DNA molecule easily. It's very robust. In fact, for my kids, we made a DNA molecule, and the way I designed it, which I did design it, was with coat hangers and toothpicks and stuff. But as you twist it, it holds itself together in a really profound way. In fact, one of my friends, who's a professor of genetics at the University of Wisconsin, took my DNA molecule, because I said, the fun part about it is you can throw it like a football. I mean, it can't fall apart. And she said, so many of these DNA molecules models they don't get across how tremendously robust that molecule is at just holding information together. So blockchain is a little like that. It's, in my opinion, it's a derivative, but it was basically thought up in 1991 to be something like a notary republic, where you could take a document and you could put it into this blockchain, and it would be very difficult to make changes without anybody knowing it. So the first part of the blockchain is that we take a piece of information. Let's think of it as a page, okay? A page, and you can apply certain formulas to that page. You could count the number of characters. When manuscripts were done, like say the Old Testament, when they copied the Old Testament, in order to make it, or the scroll, the individual scroll, say like the scroll of Isaiah that we found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, what they would do is they would copy it. One scribe would copy it. Another scribe would count the characters in the scroll and figure out, then count through the whole characters, see if that matched, count backwards to the middle character. Okay? And if that middle character wasn't the same one as the document that had been copied, then they threw it away. They knew that it was corrupt. So they used a mathematical process to validate the reproduction of ancient manuscripts. Very, very careful. They did more than that, but they counted the words, they counted the characters, and many things like that. So very, very careful. That is what when we talk about a hash. You can take a document and you can take a formula and boil it down into something that shows you many of those perspectives at once in an alphanumeric sequence that looks like a big nothing, okay, a big mess. But each document has a unique hash, if it's a good hash code, okay? And so, or each piece of data has a unique hash. And sometimes the date is worked in there, the date, time, and those things, okay? So that, so even the same document saved again will have a different hash. Okay, so it's like a fingerprint for each document. That's the first principle of but anybody who had the hash code could recreate the hash. Anybody who had the hash algorithm, okay? So they said, well, how can we preserve the hash in another way, in a different way? And they said, well, what we can do is we can create a chain of hash codes, okay, which is where the blockchain gets its. The block is the data. The chain is each block, except for the first one, refers to the hash code of the previous block. Okay, so it's part of it. Okay, it contains its hash code, the data, its hash code, and the previous block's hash code. Okay, and so in order to, if you made a change, you'd of course affect the hash code, but you could recalculate it. It would get a new hash code, different one, and that would reveal something. But if that hash code were embedded in a string of blocks, you'd have to recalculate them all to make the thing valid. It wouldn't. Okay, so the other thing that happens in the Bitcoin case, what's his name? Because in 1991 they came up with this idea of the blockchain, but let's see, Satoshi Nakamoto, I think his name is, who invented the Bitcoin, really didn't apply that until about 2009. So the other thing they do is they do a proof of work, so that you can't recalculate. It takes you about 10 minutes to put a block to recalculate a block, or to calculate a block and add it to the chain. So it takes long enough that even though supercomputers could rehash whole chains, so you could counterfeit one transaction and propagate it, it doesn't let you propagate it. It slows you down. Okay, and that's interestingly one of the articles about its application. Oh man, we went so fast. And then the other thing is it's shared among a big community, so that each chain is shared, so that you'd have to get it replicated all out there. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had more time. The alarm is going off. I'm John Miglautsch. Tune in tomorrow for more on the blockchain. John Miglautsch from the WDMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. And now, yes, last time I didn't hit the right